Yes, I would, Lord Mayor, and I think this is a good one for us to finish up on. So with this notice of motion, I'm very proud that my first notice of motion is one that every sitting councillor has unanimously agreed to be listed as a supporter on. And I can't remember seeing a time previously in the last couple of years or so when I've seen a notice of motion signed by every single sitting councillor. With that, it does feel quite special, and I really thank everyone for their collaboration and their consultation in the last fortnight, particularly because that's the type of councillor I strive to be, and I think this is an example of many where we can come together and work as a team across the council for a great outcome for our city. So Newcastle has such a proud history of leading change in our community and shaping our city when it comes to celebrating women and advancing the rights of women and girls. So from politics to business to social causes and the arts, we've done so much in Newcastle, and there's so many Novocastrians who have led the way. But this aside though, we certainly know that gender inequality persists in Australia, and local governments have a key role to play in driving positive change. One of the many examples too here in Newcastle with an amazing Novocastrian woman being a trailblazer is our nation's first female Lord Mayor, the late Joy Cummings, who's an enormous inspiration to me. Staying on politics too, I'm proud that here in Australia we have our nation's first government with a majority of women members of parliament, which has led to a record investment in women's health with some of the announcements that we've seen in the last week that have been on my mind. That's what happens when you have equality and an equal number of women at the table. And I'm proud here too, we have this chamber with the same case, where we have, again for this term, a majority of women on council. So I'm proud to call Councillor Francis Cohen, Councillor McCabe, Councillor Barry, Councillor Adamczyk, Councillor Richardson and Councillor Peter Winnie Bartz are my sisters and my comrades on this council. And look, the work too of Newcastle, we've done so much to promote gender equality, and the change that we've had in this city and through this council, it's been by no accident at all. Like, that positive change that we've had has been championed and led by this council. On May Day last year, we celebrated gender equality outcomes for City of Newcastle employees, including pay equity. And in the past, we've also regularly held events like the Lord Mayor's morning tea at City Hall for International Women's Day, and previously we've lit up the City Hall clock and celebrated the achievements of local women. So as part of this motion, we're recommitting to continuing to host and support local events and initiatives that really highlight the achievements of Novocastrian women, and to partner with local organisations to promote gender equality, women's safety and empowering Novocastrian women, showcasing the contributions of Novocastrian women, and also to celebrate International Women's Day, lighting up the City Hall building in that symbolic show of support. Beyond council too, this year for IWD, we'll have many events held right across Newcastle to celebrate International Women's Day, culminating, and I'll say it again, with the annual International Women's Day March to be held on 10 a.m. on Sunday the 9th at Gregson Park in Hamilton. I look forward to seeing many of you there. So the themes for International Women's Day that are out there are known as Accelerate Action this year, and also a theme about marching forward for all women and girls. And at City of Newcastle, we certainly are doing our part to champion that. So absolutely, I commend the motion.
Thank you. Do you want to write a reply? Yes.
Yep. I'll finish with this. So while we're certainly making inroads here in Australia and local government has a very important part to play, we know there are so many challenges that are beyond our reach, and it does weigh quite heavily on my heart that we are still in a time where the rights of the women and girls, the human rights of women and girls are still coming under attack around the world, particularly by authoritarian governments and regimes. Unfortunately, social progress isn't automatic, and if we don't keep pushing for change, we can very easily go back in the wrong direction. That's why it's so important here that at the City of Newcastle we do everything that we can to reaffirm Newcastle as a progressive city that's committed to not only advancing our human rights but celebrating the achievements of women and girls, and that's why this is so important. Thank you.
Okay. All right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? Carried unanimously. All right, we'll adjourn the meeting.